Okay, just gonna get started with getting these guys moved back and different ground on here. Let's see. Clean off my brush for a second. I'll try for. That I do agree with, Crab. That I do agree with. Ooh. Well, how have you been today, man? Ah, fair, fair. You know, I still feel guilty because I haven't played Saints Row 1 or 2. I started in the series with 3 and I played 4, but stopped playing 4 not that far into the game because 4 just wasn't all that fun. But 3 I've played through multiple times. I enjoyed that one a lot. But I still need to go back and actually play 1 and 2. I also need to buy them, but that's a separate issue. Really? Okay. Ah, gotcha, gotcha. Fair enough. Oh, gotcha, okay. Hey, James. Honestly, with purple being my favorite color and green being my second, I am kind of biased towards the purple look more, but hey, that's just how it goes sometimes, right? Okay. I did not know that. Really? Huh. I'll be honest, I haven't played too much of GTA in general, and I never played a whole lot of San Andreas. I remember I played a little bit of it because when I was younger, my mother's at the time boyfriend had it, and he let me play a little bit, but I never got very far in that one. I remember from the games he owned, I played more Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem, which I did enjoy that game quite a bit. But I never got to play a whole lot of the GTA series. Really? Okay. Ah, okay. I've played a little bit of San Andreas. That's kind of really it with my experience with the GTA as a franchise. I've always wondered if I should actually play it, but I just wasn't sure if I'd actually want to. Not that it's bad, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just not entirely sure if I'm sold on it. But that's mostly because I'm more of an RPG person. I like strategy games, I like RPGs. That I do play shooters, but not all that frequently. I think I'm gonna add some red to this. I just need to find a decent red. I think what I'm gonna do is I want to put a design at least on each shoulder and on the top plate here. But I want to throw some red in there. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna use the one red I have. Then I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of black speed paint to see if I can get it to be a bit darker. Because I don't want it to be too vibrant of a red. But I want to make sure I have the designs that kind of stand out just a tad. Where's my speed paint? Because I think just having a couple of designs would just make this pop just a tad more. Because I don't know if I want to stick with the brown design motif for the entire thing. At least not on the blue. GTA 5 ramps up quick for its missions. The prologue is literally the middle of a heist, and the main tutorial segment is another heist. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I trapped myself in this corner now. I know drawing the other eye the same as the last one is always difficult. Why have I done it another time on this mini? I did it for this one, for the gauntlets, I did it for fake eyes as the designs on the head. And I decided eye war paint, because that's definitely not the smartest move I've made. But hopefully it's cool enough that it works as is. But yeah, I'd heard about the three main playable protagonists. I just never, I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of the main issue is I'm just using my base Thousand Suns blue because it's kind of the best blue I have right now. Because my original idea was put gray and then throw a thin layer of the magic blue on top, but that didn't work out as well as I hoped. So to reference Kokaitis a little bit, I figured I'll throw on the blue as part of the war paint. Because originally you guys said we should do war paint on the guy. So I decided, okay, we'll try a little bit of war paint. I'll hack away at some designs, see how I feel about them. And for the most part, I feel good about it. But I just don't have a lot of light blues. Because Thousand Suns is my lightest one. Then after that, I've got a Techless blue, which is a bit of a deeper blue. Then I have a base, Calidor Sky, even deeper. And then my Crag blue is definitely too deeply blue. So I just don't have anything. For the most part, I just don't have anything that works with I guess you would call it whatchamacallit. I just don't have anything that works with a lighter blue. Not yet, at least. I need to pick some new paints up to try to figure something out. Yeah. I just want something that popped out a bit more from the blue, just because it felt too barren up top. Because we all agreed that I needed to do war paint. The issue is, what do I do the war paint on? And I'm just not sure. But then the follow-up question is, do I still want to go with the idea for the flesh in between the armor pieces? Because we discussed doing like a light purple there. But I worry if the purple might be too much. I don't know. So far, I like the ideas that we've come up with on how we want to paint this guy. It's just more of, I'm not entirely sure if I'm sold. But I'm going to set him down for a minute so I can think about that. If I get GTA 5, look into line because everything up to the highest and low riders update. Story mode, the rest is after because the online protagonist got locked up. Oh, okay. Interesting. I'll think about it. But yeah, I'm going to set Cocytus Jr. off into the back for a bit. Just so I can give myself time to deliberate and think about him. And work on the mini that I barely touched yesterday. Because I have a plot-relevant NPC who is a mermaid, and I have yet to actually paint the mini that I have for her. I mean, I already had the red paint ready, so I figured, might as well. I'll try it out first. If I don't like it, I can paint over later. I don't really have a good pink, so it was either that or I do black. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And with all the redhead erasure in Hollywood, maybe as a joke I can just say, oh, I'm bringing the redheads back. Hey, never know. I feel like there would be a good D&D campaign that involves mermaids. But I don't know. The Great Ginger Ring. I mean, hey. People like gingers. Maybe that should be the campaign name. Call of the Gingers, or the Great Gingering. Yeah, what's up, James? Oh, that is an angle. Hold on. I have a brush for this. A pretty messed up brush, but I do have a brush for this. So are you saying that because you might be biased? Or because of how Disney's treated Meredith? I almost said her name wrong. It's not even that hard of a name. Okay. So got that. Now I have an idea for something interesting that we can try. Because we've got the layer of green for the tail. What I was thinking was mixing a little bit of polished silver and periwinkle purple, mixing it together and doing a thin layer right over the top of the tail, just to see if I can get more of that ethereal, like rainbow fish scale look. Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong thing. I was trying to say including me. Oh, gotcha. Okay. That happens, man. No worries. They don't put gingers in enough media. Well, have you seen the meme of the ginger erasure that was going around about how Hollywood's live actions are working? There's a whole diagram where in a lot of the live action remakes, for some reason, a lot of the people who are like gingers and redheads are the ones that are getting turned into other people of color whenever they do a remake of it in the media recently. It's been an interesting diagram to follow. Clue sounded like Q to me for some reason. Ah. I do slur my words from time to time. I am also a little tired. So, could easily just be a fault on my part. Okay. Then, thin layer. Thin layer, let's see. Did I get it thin enough? I think there's too much silver, not enough purple. But we are going to thin this out and try it anyway. Because it was either, it might have been better if I did a base coat of a metallic silver and then threw the colors over it. But I just wanted to see how well everything would look. Because you cannot see the green that well. Who would win, Metro Man or Mr. Incredible at his peak? I would argue Metro Man. Only because Metro Man was supposed to be a Superman stand-in for the jokes. And so even if he's not as strong as Superman, dude can fly, he's got vision, he's got a lot of other things in his arsenal that would allow him to deal with Mr. Incredible faster. Mr. Incredible might be smart, but also I wouldn't say that, like, yes, he relies on his brawn, but strategy is a thing if he has other people with him. If he's got other people with him, he's fine. But that's because he's a good team leader and he's good at teamwork. Yeah, that's kind of just what I think on that. He does, but Danger's sense can always be overridden or can be overwhelmed if the target's fast enough. And Metro Man basically could freeze time with how fast he could process and look at things in the world. So I feel like even if Mr. Incredible has his danger sense, I just don't see it doing too well against Metro Man's just absurd power and speed. Yeah. And so I became Music Man. Which, I'll be honest, I'm surprised that never caught on as like a meme from Game Theory, with how MatPat would always scream Music Man. I half I never saw it, so it might exist, but there is always in the back of my mind that thought of, okay, we have Music Man from the Five Nights at Freddy series as a running joke for MatPat. When's he gonna edit in Metro Man? Like seeing Metro Man and him screaming Music Man. And so I became Markiplier. Yeah, no, basically. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome back to Happy Wheels. Granted, I would say that my favorite series from Markiplier whenever I've watched him, my favorite series was his Hoonie Pop Let's Plays, just because it gets so absurd and it's so funny how he tackles everything that happens. But he does really well, and he plays the game well when he locks in and starts strategizing. Okay. Oh, yeah. There has to be an edit like that somewhere. We got Lord Farquaad getting edited in his Markiplier all the time with the E. There has to be a Markiplier Metro Man thing, because people already make the memes that Markiplier is a Metro Man, and vice versa. The Markiverse. That's yeah, that's very apt. So, just gonna knock my own mini out of my fingers. Don't mind me. Okay, because I wanted to mix silver and purple, and so far with the speed paint, I get the silver. Not seeing a lot of purple in that. So I'm gonna try a little bit of purple off to the side. See if I can thin that down and try something else. I'm certain I'm going to need a lot more water, so. Oh, yeah. I didn't watch too much of that series, but I know of the series you're talking about. That was a fun series. I just remember Hoonie Pop because I thought it was funny. And then later on, the subsequent playthroughs of the future games that came in the series, it was just, I don't know. I just thought it was really fun. He also had the fake anime intro, which I thought sold it pretty well for like the first 2 episodes, and they just kept cutting it short. Okay. The purple's standing out a bit now that the polished silver's taken hold. So I'm just going to slowly get this purple mixed in. Thin layers over the top so that there's still a bit of a shine. But then we have this. I remember it's insane looking at YouTubers that I used to watch. Yeah, no, it's weird when you go down memory lane for stuff. Because there's some old school YouTubers that just don't exist anymore or don't upload anymore, and it's weird. Like, I grew up watching Filthy Frank, and of course, the algorithm wasn't kind to Frank. But everybody loves his music, which thank goodness. He was always good at music, and I am glad he found a successful career with his music too. But I miss Papa Franco. The ones that weren't canceled, at least. Yeah, that too. When a YouTuber gets big enough, they either do a shitty musical career or they're outed as a predator. So stay tuned as I come up with a shitty music idea years down the road. Minecraft YouTubers have it bad. Yeah, no, it is not totally surprising to me. But, something always seems to be going on with Minecraft YouTube. Thankfully, I never played Minecraft, and so I've never been interested in watching people play it. So I never fell down that rabbit hole and never had to deal with, oh, that's my favorite content creator in the headlines. Lovely. Granted, there was a content creator I followed who did get in hot water. However, he was acquitted of all problems. I also haven't checked in and watched any Pro Jared stuff in a while, because I like his content for his randomizers for the older games, like the Zelda randomizers, and whenever he does Let's Plays of ROM hacks. Those were always fun. And I do like his reviews for the Final Fantasy series. I'm still waiting for his video on Final Fantasy 13. We need it. I want to see the salt, and I want to feel vindicated over the fact that Final Fantasy 13's characters were just. Did you know that Post Malone used to be friends with Sky Does Minecraft? I did not know that, no. I knew Post got his start on YouTube and made videos and like appeared in videos with like iDubbbz and Filthy Frank and a few other people. But I did not know that one. Granted, the last time I really paid attention to Post Malone was when he did his Pokemon concert. Like, I remember that to me was just the funniest shit ever, because it's Post Malone. He's not exactly kid-friendly necessarily, and him having to censor almost everything, like, because they had him play like Congratulations for that Pokemon performance, and they kept having to just put in like blinks and edit it out, and I thought that was the funniest shit ever, watching that going, oh yeah, I'm not surprised, because this is an event for kids and a game series marketed towards children. But again, why Post Malone? I love the dude, but Gorillaz is in Fortnite now? Huh. I will be honest, I did not see that one coming. Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Yeah, I would have never seen that one coming. First Miku, now Murdoch, and the others. Well, hey man, they had to get pickle representation somehow into Fortnite. So if it takes Murdoch to do it, then we'll take Murdoch. We had to have pickles sometime. I am curious what kind of outfits they have now, because I would have never thought, and now I'm really curious, especially for Russell and Noodle. I want to see their outfits. They also added in Deadmau5. That one I'm not too surprised by. If you're gonna get like all of like the bigger music artists, Deadmau5 is kind of, from what I understand, he's fairly chill to work with. So I'm not surprised he got added in. If I remember right, it was the plastic beach designs. Really? The plastic beach designs, okay. So we've got like 15-year-old Noodle running around with a scar. Yeah, that checks out. I mean, granted, Noodle also has a giant head of a British music artist that she keeps alive, so if that's in her room, yeah, guns are the least of our concerns when it comes to Noodle. The one that lit up a Skya planes with a Tommy gun? Ah, okay. Oh, that's, Feel Good Inc. Feel Good Inc. That's what I'm thinking of. Because that's with the windmill that's flying in the sky. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I know it was on an earlier album. It's just when I think of the Tommy gun lighting up the sky, I just think of because Feel Good Inc. was like the end of that album for the story progression. And so it was like the lead transition into the next one, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, so I don't remember quite right, but that's just kind of what I'm remembering off the top of my head. Melancholy Hill, Ron Silo, Stylo, and a few others. Yeah, because it was after the windmill got shot down. Oh gosh, now I've got Melancholy Hill stuck in my head. Oh, Mañana was a... Oh, I forgot about that song. Okay. No, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Also, can I just say, I like they put the necklace on her. How the hell am I supposed to paint that? That is such a narrow gap. I'm not sure I can paint that just right with the angle I've got right here. Ah, there we go. If they didn't throw the dare dance in, that would have been surprising. Every time we mention a new song, I get that song stuck in my head. So now I've got Dare stuck in my head, which was one of my favorite ones from back in the day. I liked that one a lot. Dare without the giant head. You remember the MTV Cribs of the Gorillaz studio? Not really. I watched like the animations and like, but that was really it. Anything else outside of like the music videos, I didn't really watch too much of. Yeah, now I'm just reminded of a comment from the Dare music video that somebody mentioned. Because years ago, I was rewatching it because I hadn't seen it or listened to it in a while. And I remember somebody made a misheard lyric joke about it, where instead of Noodle saying, "You've got to press it on you," they put it as, "You've got depression on you." And they go, "Thanks for reminding me, Noodle." And every time I listen to that song with one of my friends, I've got a specific friend where I will always just say, "You've got depression on you," instead of the actual lyric, just because we both reference it all the time. Oh, that is precarious. Okay. So we've got her absurdly white. Let's find where my flesh shades are. Because I kind of want to get flesh shades from Games Workshop, just because the Vallejo stuff works, but it's not my favorite. I'm going to try for the dark flesh tone. If I remember right, I need a decent amount of water for this one too. Huh. Interesting. Now, does that mean it's because they're going to do a K-pop Demon Hunters thing? Or... because that's a very interesting to leave thing and phrase to leave it at. Ah, so they're trying to get their own one set up. Okay. Well, that'll be interesting. Hmm. You know, Let's experiment with some more speed paints. Because I am curious about this color. Yeah. So that's kind of why with the phrasing from the previous comment, I was like, are they saying that because they want K-pop Demon Hunters in next? Because I wouldn't blame them, because that movie blew up. I'm not surprised that it did, because my friends made me watch it, and yeah, it's good. Hmm. I mean, fair. When it comes to corporations, I never know. I just assume either the smartest move or the dumbest move, and we'll see how that goes. Because thinking of the dumbest move, apparently, I don't know if this has been disproven or not, so bear with me. This is a bit of a grain of salt, but I heard that the new Cracker Barrel president had a crash out on Instagram because everybody was clowning the new design, and so she got mad that people didn't like it. Which, hey, that's just business, baby. Okay. Speaking of corpus and dumb moves, Hasbro's the king of it. Oh yeah. Hasbro has always been dumb. So I am curious if there's the specific thing that you're talking about with Hasbro. Because I will talk to the ends of the earth about how stupid Hasbro's been with D&D. I had heard about that, yeah. Yeah, apparently that did happen, yeah. Which, yeah. Not entirely surprised by that. I've worked in a corporation and I've worked in I worked in an international insurance corporation, and yeah, incompetence within corporations is not a new thing. It's very common. And if you're wondering how I personally view it, I got let go from my job over 2 years ago. Actually, no, just over a year at this point. It'll be 2 years next year. I still have my computer. I still have my work computer. My domain and my login was deleted, so I don't have access to anything, including my W-2s that I never got. But they sent me a box so I could mail my computer back. It was a computer box for a laptop. I never got a work-issued laptop. I had a dual-monitor desktop setup from the office I worked at. And nobody's reached out to be like, hey, where's the rest of your computer? Like, where's the rest of the computer we gave you? It's like, well, you guys didn't give me a box to send everything in, so I can't send it in. And at this point, it's been over a year since I was let go that I kind of just want to. I feel like I should just send it to the police and be like, hey, lost property from this corporation. They said I'm not allowed to bring it back to the office in person, so I want to give it to somebody else so I'm not liable for or responsible for it, because that's a lot of responsibility for something I don't care about. I remember seeing buzz about that game getting canceled. I remember there was a lot of buzz about that on Twitter. Because a lot of people said that it looked really good and they were really excited for it. And from what I saw from the trailers, it definitely looked fun. Granted, the only Transformers game I've played was the DS one, where you had Autobots and Decepticons. I believe I forgot my copy of Autobots, I want to say. And G1, they literally had a country named Carbomia. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that is kind of funny. Because that's like, it's so uncreative and yet creative at the same time that I'm like, is this genius from laziness or secret, like, or was that like somebody activating all of their brain to make that happen? And before you ask, yes, it was mutilation. Ah, there's the kicker. Okay. Okay. VA for Cliff Jumper quit because of that and other issues. I'm not surprised by that. Is the John Legator crooked? Yeah, it's crooked. Hasbro quality, mind you. The only thing that's different about this mini from when I opened it up and painted it is the fact that I added this little crown out of Milliput. Hasbro quality for D&D minis, everyone. So again, when it comes to Hasbro, I don't like when it comes to D&D, I don't like buying actual minis from Hasbro just because their minis are not of a quality I think is acceptable. And this crooked jaw will haunt me for as long as this mini's in my collection. I hate that I love Hasbro products. Here's the thing. A broken clock is right twice a day. Hasbro makes some horrible decisions, and some of their products are awful, like this crocodile having a jaw that doesn't line up in the slightest. I will not excuse the quality of this mini. But on the other hand, they do occasionally make something good. They're not perfect. They fuck up quite a bit. But there are times where they do make something that's genuinely good. Okay. Hmm. What other paints do I have? Hard bone. Okay, I'm gonna try something weird because I don't mind the pink hair because that was what I wanted to do at first. I just forgot I actually had a pink. What I want to do is I want to see if I can add something to change up the color a bit. So I'm gonna try a thin layer of the Thunderbird blue. I'm curious. Because this can either be really good, really bad, or meh. I just want to try out these paints because I don't even know how many speed paints I bought. I just know I bought roughly $60 worth of them, and I haven't really been able to use much of them, so. Just want to see what happens if I take a light blue. This is much thicker than I normally expect out of speed paints. But I kinda like this. Never ask a man his income, a woman her age, or a Hasbro hater their favorite franchise. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, this is surprisingly thick for speed paint. I was not expecting this, but I really like how this color is turning out. So Hi, can you tell I'm painting a woman? I've changed her hair color 4 times now. Keep dyeing her hair. Really? I knew Shockwave was considered the evil scientist of the Decepticons. I didn't realize he was going that far yet. Actually, it's pretty interesting, though, I'm not gonna lie. Man, this angle is scary. He juiced up a whale in Skybound and ponies in the My Little Pony Transform comic. I forgot that crossover was real. I thought that was a meme the first time somebody told me about that. It was kind of like when I first found out that Magic had a secret lair for My Little Pony, which is absolutely hilarious because some of the My Little Pony, like one of the My Little Pony commanders, turned out to be a real menace and a good joke factory just because it had the flavor text of any creature with a smile gains like +1/+1 and whatever. And so people are going, hey, what's your favorite car to run with Pinkie Pie? My favorite is Massacre Worm. Because it has a smile on its face. So definitely tragic, but I absolutely enjoyed watching that unfold. And I really hope somebody I know makes a deck like that just to troll people with it. Hey, Francois. Oh, yeah, no. That card for Magic, I will send you the picture of it so you can see the commander. It is hilarious because of just how creative people are getting with, is this a smile or is this not a smile? I think somebody put like an Eldrazi that had a smile in the thing, which, for those who don't know Magic the Gathering too well, Eldrazi are essentially just eldritch horrors beyond our imagination and are one of the strongest decks possible to build. They are disgustingly good. But any deck is disgustingly good if you build it right. It just needs to have enough cards. And also you have to be willing to go back to past editions, because if you can get some of the OG cards, you get good stuff. Le Snip Snip. Ah. Yep. Of course they'd be smiling. They are powerful. Well, yeah, the thing is people are deliberating on what constitutes as a smile or just an open mouth. Because again, some of these are not humans, so with their mouth shape, it's like, is this a smile? Or is this just pure evil? I never followed up on all of that deliberation because I was laughing too much to really care. Which card art? Crap. I know there was some Phyrexian and a lot of Eldrazi that were taking the main stage just because people wanted to have that stuff meld with the Pinkie Pie card just to fuck with people. Because I think the community agreed Massacre Worm has a smile on its face. So Massacre Worm gets a pass. But I'm trying to think now. Oh, there's my Sandry Dust. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go back and check out the card art because I got a friend that I meet with locally who he got me back into playing Magic, and so just any card with the smiley face. Yep. No. Yeah. It's because the text box in Pinkie Pie's thing is any card with a smile on it gets like bonuses from Pinkie Pie on the field, and so people were trying to go, how crazy can we go with this? Because it just says any card art with a smile gets affected by this bonus. So what's a smile and what's not a smile? And of course the Phyrexians and the Duskmorn sets of, hey, these have smiles, so let's bring in abject horror into a My Little Pony deck. Massacre Worm gets the pass is not what I thought I'd hear tonight. I believe it's a +1/+1, and I think it's trample or it's not menace, I don't think. But I think it's trample and something else, and like I think a +1/+1 from Pinkie Pie. It's been a while since I saw the card, and my friends and I started laughing as we looked for the most devious cards. Because there are so many demons that just have a smile on their face. I was like, oh yeah, Pinkie Pie is now the commander of a legion of demons. Like, that card went places. But I've yet to see somebody unironically play that deck, or a deck with My Little Pony cards in it. I've got a few friends that we have the Warhammer cards. Like, in my rat deck, I run the Inquisitorial Rosette just because of some bonuses I get with that. Oh, just the creature tapped treasure token on cast a smiling card. Oh, is that really what it is? Still pretty powerful. I would make a deck based on that, but I cannot remember. Because the last time I looked at the Magic cards that are coming out, my friends and I are really excited for the Sonic one, because the Sonic one they are disgustingly good. And I'm not letting this slide. What do you mean Pinkie Pie is married to Weird Al Yankovic? What the hell? What is the story behind this? Do I even want to know the story behind this? Because I never exactly paid attention to My Little Pony. So, to me, that just is a jarring sentence to read. Weird Al voiced a character named Cheese. Cheese married Pinkie Pie. Oh gosh, okay. Now that makes sense to an extent. But that brings up more questions. I'm looking at the card. I think the interesting part is every pony's invited ability. All your creatures are in your party, and your party is always full. Works with the D&D cards. Oh gosh, you're right. Oh no, because that means... Oh my gosh, you can run a handful of D&D characters. I didn't even think of that. Weird Al also voiced Wreck Gar and Cosmos and Transformers. Really? Honestly, when it comes to Weird Al in movies and media, I know him for his music and his work with the Naked Gun series and Spy Hard, which those are movies that few people have actually watched. Oh, D&D cards have. If your party is full, then yeah. Red Guardian Animated and Cosmos and Earthspark. Interesting. Oh gosh, I need to look all this up again for the D&D stuff, because I never use the D&D stuff, like the D&D cards. But if you have a commander that just perpetually keeps your party full at all times, no exceptions, that's kind of broken. Or I should say, the power cards have something to do with that. Yeah. But still, that's... Huh. That raises a lot of questions for me now. Exactly, it could be cool for the commander party. Yeah, no. Because so far, my favorite commander to run right now is Vren the Relentless, because I like Bloomburrow, and so I've been speccing into Bloomburrow. And I need to now spec into the Ninja set, because the Ninja Rats are really good. Just because I have my Rat Commander card, because I enjoy Vren a lot. I think he's fun, he's very interesting, and he's very powerful when you play in a multiplayer. But I've been so busy with work recently that I haven't been able to meet up with my friends and actually play Magic for a long time. And I really do want to play again, because I haven't really been able to play. And the last time I tried playing, I had to leave early because I promised to give somebody a ride somewhere. And I had a blue-red player in that pod. And so, of course, the blue-red player is casting 50 spells a turn, which takes him like 20 minutes per turn. I'm playing in Spirit Flagship at the moment. Make a copy of him and win. Is that from the latest set with the planets and the battleship, like the starships? Because my friend is building a deck out of that set. I have not looked into it at the slightest, except what he showed me that's in his commander deck, and it looks really good. It looks like they improved on the vehicle crew gimmick a lot more with it. So I am interested to see what it's like, but I have not spent a whole lot of time actually looking into that, and I really should. Yeah, it's a Jeskai spacecraft. Okay. I just had an idea. I'm gonna set her down. I'm gonna clean my thing. But yeah, for my friend who bought like some cards from that set, I'm very interested to see what that, like how the gimmick plays out, because it looked good and looked like it was a lot more thought out than the crew vehicle stuff. But I was curious to actually look into it, because I liked how the planets as lands, I liked some of their special text box gimmick stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. Wait, no. If I'm doing this, I need to do it right. Gives all of the artifacts hexproof and indestructible, make a copy, then boom, everything is hexproof and indestructible. Oh. And it's not hard to have enchantments that give you a copy of something and remove the legendary keyword from it. Oh boy. Yeah? The planets all take 12 to station. It's really worth it. The spacecraft are much better, though. Okay. Well, at least the spacecraft are worth it. Still, that's mildly disappointing. Just because I thought the planets would be... I don't know, from what I read, I hadn't fully read through all of the stuff, but it seemed interesting. There's a bunch of ways to make a copy of Legendary. Oh, yeah. Now, I know she normally does this with purple, but I don't have a good purple. So I'm going to use her favorite color. But the green, white, and blue plants are the only playable ones. Really? That's both simultaneously hilarious and annoying to me. Because that means the gimmicks are really good. And play Magic however you want, but just know if you play blue-white, you can suck my dick. I have never gone against a blue-white deck that ever felt like it was geared for fun, but more of just Salt Factory creation. And look, everybody has fun in their own way, don't get me wrong. But I am judging you if you run blue and white. I'm not saying they're bad color combinations. It's probably one of the best in the game for the most part. Just know that I genuinely dislike playing against people who run those colors, because it always turns into nothing but middle fingers. Not going how I hoped. Gonna... But yeah, no. Played Yu-Gi-Oh! Against my friend once, not knowing how to play. He played for 16 years, and I beat him horribly because of one card. Not fair. Green gets X, green mana for X equals creatures you control. Blue gets blue mana for X artifacts. White makes a legendary copy of target artifact or enchantment you control. Okay, yeah, those are really good. Those are really good. Yeah, I can see how those are definitely worth it to play. Because green having the ramp makes a lot of sense. Blue for the artifacts, yeah, definitely makes sense. Oh, sorry. Blue for, yeah, mana for artifacts, and then white is just copy of something. Makes a lot of sense. Also going to be horrendous to play against. And to your point, Crab, I had a deck for Magic years ago that I played once. I was playing with a bunch of guys who were not good teachers, so I never really learned how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I'd be willing to try. I was willing to try it. However, I just got paired with some guys who just really sucked at teaching. So I ended up using a bunch of spells at the worst moment possible. And they just kind of let me play them without explaining rhyme, reason, or, oh yeah, that's just a wasted turn. I'm like, oh, thanks. Glad to know that now. That card was a frog called a Tex. Changer or text changer. I can't remember. If attacked, it can summon a monster to the field and negate the attack. Oh, okay. Red. 2 red, sack a land to make a 2/2 artifact. The worst. Why would you want to sack a land as red? You destroy other people's land, not your own. That's dumb. Black, 2 black, pay 2 life, sack a creature, draw a card. Two black mana, 2 life, sacrifice a creature, draw a card. That is absurdly... I don't like that. If it was 2 life, 2 black, that would make a lot of sense and I'd be for it. But I'm not liking that. Two colorless and a black. 3 mana, 2 life, sack a creature, draw a card. That's horrible. That's horrible for black. Because black has card draw. I use card draw in my Dimir deck with rats. And I do not have... It is not nearly that expensive to draw cards in black. Why on earth? The black and red planets are not playable. Yeah, no. Destroying your own land sounds American. Yeah, no. It is. That's why red... Well, because red, their whole thing for red is you're hyper aggressive and you inhibit the other players because you're too aggressive. And so one common thing is, I've got a friend who has he's got a land destruction deck. It's primarily red. And it's pretty nasty. But why would you destroy your own lands as red? Because the whole purpose of red is you don't run a lot of lands. You get stuff that's cheap and then you just cast it quickly. But yeah, no, I can see why you call them unplayable. I can't see a world in which they are playable. Because sacking your own land, unless if you're doing a landfall deck where you can, like from the Thunder Junction, where with some of the commanders you could play land cards from your graveyard, I don't see why you would ever sack a land. I like red cards with X casting cost. Sacking land bad. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I only have one dedicated red deck, and it's my 60 card. And it's centered around Urabrask's Forge. It's not the most optimized deck. It was just the first one I built, and I've been changing it slowly. But I've definitely made it better, and I've actually won more often with it now that I made some changes from when I first got it.
Sack a land, do 3 damage to any target. I could get behind it, but a 2/2 artifact token creature with no abilities, no FM. Well, yeah, there's not enough reason to sacrifice that. Like, I can't think of anything in red that does that. However, I know my friend has a Mardu commander that he built from the Tarkir set. And that guy's ability is that token creatures don't die. Like, they're not destroyed. So you can summon as many of them without sacking anything. Just because Tarkir had a bunch of, summon this and sacrifice them at your end step. And, of course, the commander was, don't sacrifice anything during your end step. It wasn't... Like, it was a fun deck to play against. But I don't know. I feel like Red's gimmick is so straightforward that it's always just infuriating when they try to reinvent the wheel with Red. Because Red is simple. I do damage. If I don't do enough damage by turn 7, I'm most likely going to lose. But I don't know. There's a lot of ways to get behind it. There's a lot that I would think would work better for it. But I'm just not sure about it. I like the blue, but I'm going to change the hair color again. Mostly because I need to remember how to do this color combination, because I haven't done this in a while, and I really should. But yeah, no. I'm trying to think of another red deck that I'm trying to build right now, and so far, from Bloomborough, they didn't have any commanders for the lizards, so I didn't do that. But I was looking at I finally pulled a Mabel card, as well as I got the Cragflame token card. So I wanted to do a mouse deck with Mabel because I want to do Voltron with mice, just because the mice buff each other all the time. And then with a Voltron, you just build up Mabel to kill everything hard. But the other mice get bonuses so you can deal with other things that come at you. But I don't do much with red. I like the color. It's my first 60 card deck, and I enjoy it, but I don't do much. Okay, biggest cast in deck is 5. You draw 6 land, so okay to sack, but you have to tap down 12 power of creature before you can even use the ability, when you probably could have just attacked. Yeah. Yeah. Why summon more when attack now? And all you get is a 2/2 for that 12 power you tapped, the 4 mana you tapped, and the land you sack. Yeah, it's... If it was create, like, 6 2/2s, I could see that being much more worth it, because then it works with, like, a token generation deck. And then, depending on the colors you're running, you can get some real shenanigans going. But I just don't see it working well, you know? And if it was a shapeshifter token, I think it would be better. Because if you did shapeshifter tokens, you get, like, let's say 4 of them that are 2/2s when you tap it. But that's the red deck. You can add that with Krenko, and all of a sudden you've got a much better goblin spawn rate. Like, I could see that kind of working if it was redone, but 12 power to get a 2/2 artifact creature, it's just... underwhelming for what red typically does and needs. So I'm definitely not the biggest fan of that. Granted, have you seen the card they're printing for Eggman in the Sonic game? Like for the Sonic expansion? I am genuinely excited to build a deck off of Eggman because that is just a mean card with the villainous decision. Sackland for Lightning Bolt would have been better. I agree. That would have been good. But the Eggman card is one I'm going to build a robot deck off of because he's just so disgusting. Yeah, I got the Sonic characters. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I want to build a robot commander deck with Eggman because that's just so mean with his. Amy looks like the best one, to be honest. Oh no, for sure. Amy is a fantastic Voltron. Amy's good. Knuckles is situational, but with his specific artifact, it can work. If you like Flash creatures, Sonic's not bad. I'm not the biggest fan of Flash and Haste in a blue-white deck, but I can see it working well. But yeah, all around, Amy's definitely the best of that set. I just like Eggman's the most because it's so mean to everybody at the table that I just want to see how well it works. Sonic has red too. Oh, he does have red? Okay. Because I know I could only remember like blue and I thought he was like blue-white. Red is good. He definitely needs it because he scales off of creatures with haste. That might be a little too subdued on the yellow. I think I need to... Sonic is red, white, and blue. Okay. He's pure American. But yeah, okay, so that definitely needed because he does the haste gimmick. But I'm curious because red, blue, and white is a very... I don't see that combination normally. Like, I've never run into it. Just because white is all about control, blue is about control, and then red is pure aggression. Like, I can see it working if you build it right, but I can't say I've seen that in the wild from my experience yet. Now I kind of want to look to see if there's any, like, red, white, and blue commander cards and sets that people have made. Because that is a color combination. It exists. I just haven't seen it. I like Eggman, but not as a commander. I would rather tutor him from the deck and play a cheaper commander. No, that's fair. Yeah, that's a better blonde color. Oh, okay. But yeah, Commander is big locally. Everyone is playing like bracket 4 or 5, like one card shy of... Really? Wow. I just have a couple of people I know locally who play it. That's kind of where I've done most of my playing. I know there's a couple of like game stores and like shops that
have tournaments, but they always do it on Mondays, and I'm almost always working on Monday night, so I can never go to those. I'd like to go and at least meet new people, but I'm not really hung up on this because I really want to see what a red, blue, white deck looks like outside of like dragons. Because of course dragons are every color, so I can assume that already has something. But I want to see what other kind of gimmicks that color combination has. No room for fun, really. Super crunchy competitive. Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, with my group, it's mostly for fun, minus the one guy who's the red blue player. He's always hyper competitive. He gets salty when he loses. The rest of us are like, no, we're here for fun. He's there to win, which, hey, everybody's there for their own reasons to have fun. Have fun how you want. But don't get salty that the hyper aggressive red blue player got targeted by everybody because he was being a good red blue player, you know? But also, none of my decks are optimized. I have a Voltron deck built off of Charix, or Mr. Krabs for those who seen the, which I have both. That's my Mr. Krabs deck from SpongeBob. I've got the Mr. Krabs deck that I run. He's a Voltron deck just because I thought it would be really fun to have a commander with 0 power and 17 health, because that means as Voltron, he doesn't really die. Even from Blasphemous Act, he lives. Okay, my Inspire flagship is red, white, blue. It's like 2 multicolored red-blue cards and a deflecting SWAT. It's otherwise a W Urza artifact creature deck. Okay. Prowess Monks, I think, is the best for red, white, blue, though. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I can see that now. I never paid too much attention to monks, but I do remember pulling a lot of them when I got my Tarkir boxes. So that makes a lot of sense, actually. Because yeah, monks with prowess, that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we've got a silver purple tail, blonde hair, referencing a VTuber that I follow with the hands slightly. Now, I should probably just go back to the blue so I can do the clothing bit for the bra. Vile duplication. I will have to look that up once I'm done streaming, because I only got my phone to look things up with right now. But I will have to do that, because that sounds hilarious. And if it does what I assume it does off of that name, I can see some fun gimmicks being built off of that. I know one of my favorite cards to run in my Simic deck is Tempt with Reflections. Copies everything except legendary keyword, which means you make all your other copies off of the vile duplication. Oh, that's evil because of my rat deck. I need that. Which means you may not hear the... That's so evil. That is so beautifully evil. Because with my rats, so I should probably just grab my deck so I can show it real fast. Hold on. I know where I keep my magic cards, thankfully. I am somewhat organized. All right. So, gonna set this off to the side so I don't accidentally paint my magic cards. My commander is Vren, and then in this deck, I run a few things to help. Run the Inquisitorial Rosette, and I run, where is it? Yep, rats. Tamio's journal. Is it really at the top? Dismiss into dream. Ah, there it is. Konda's banner. There it is. Arcane adaptation. And I believe I saw back here. Where's my Slumlord? Ah, there it is. Basically, the whole gimmick with Vren is, as a commander, you want everything to die. My rat commander is Maronar. Maronar is a good one. Basically, very simple. War 2. If a creature opponents controls would die, exile it instead. At the beginning of each end step, create an X/1/1 black rat creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each other rat you control, where X is the number of creatures your opponents control that were exiled this turn. So basically, I just kill everything my opponents control. And then with Arcane Adaptation, I choose rats to make every card in my deck a rat. So then all of a sudden, all my creatures that aren't rats, like Ogre Slumlord, now everything has Death Touch. And now I make more rats. Which helps, because I also run Konda's Banner. This was like, I think, a $10 card when I got it. Can only attach it to a legendary creature, so I attach it to my commander. Creatures that share a color with it, and with most rats being black and blue, that helps a lot. They get a +1/+1. And if they share a creature type, which becomes my entire deck, they also get a +1/+1. To be an absolute asshole, I run Dismiss into Dream as a distraction tactics. Each creature my opponents control is an illusion in addition to their type, and has, when this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. Basically, anybody trying to buff their own crap just kills all of their creatures. It's a very expensive enchantment, but I like to fuck with people using it because it messes with people. I like having Tamio's Journal because I get to create artifacts, and if I sacrifice 3 clues, I get to search my library for a card and put it into my hand so I can find whatever I want. So as long as I have this with me, I can just get whatever I want from my deck. Flitterfang I use as backup just for flying. And then at the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, I create a food token. And so every time something dies from my opponents, I get more rats. Anytime anything dies, I get a food token, which just helps with having Flitterfang stick around. And because I run Arcane Adaptation, the Inquisitorial Rosette, I can attach it to any of my rats that attack every turn. And whenever it attacks, it creates a 2/2 white Astartes creature token with Vigilance that's attacking as well. Arcane Adaptation turns it into a rat. So I create more rats by attacking. But these rats have Vigilance. And so that's kind of my whole strategy, is just to make people hate me. And also I get to remove my opponent's graveyard play. And because he has Ward 2, I also have my I got the flying shoes or whatever it is. I don't know if Space Gaven. Basically, yeah. Let's see. For example, not technically a rat, but works well, is Flying Death Touch and Lifelink on a vampire. And I can renew it, which means I get to exile this card from my graveyard, and I put a flying counter, death touch counter, and a lifelink counter on a target creature. So I can throw flying death touch lifelink onto anything on my field just by letting this thing die as soon as I bring it out there, which helps with being aggressive with it. And I have some other rat cards that I use to build and get other rats. What are vampires if not big rats? As far as my deck is concerned, that is absolutely true. Karumonix, I run him in here. I've never been able to play him in a game. I have played roughly 30 games with this deck. I have never drawn Karumonix during the game. And I really wish I could, because I've never been able to use this guy. Which is hilarious, because I've won so many games and never gotten it. You need that new Thrumming Hive Sliver generating artifact. 6 mana, make 2/1/1 haste double strike creatures every upkeep. I'm gonna have to look into that. To keep my commander safe, I run Magebane armor on him and equip it to him. So +2/+4 loses flying, and I prevent all non-combat damage that's dealt to him, which helps a lot. Where is it? Of course, I'm in a blue deck. I'm running Propaganda, because I absolutely need it.
To screw with people again, I have Curse of the Bloody Tome. Beginning of Enchanted player's upkeep, they put the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. I mostly do that to anybody who is playing blue and black because I am not dealing with that garbage. So if you're playing blue or black, yeah, I know I'm going to lose, but I'm targeting you first because I don't want to deal with it. I have Staff of the Death Mages and Staff of the Mind Mages to gain health almost every turn because there's not a lot of life gain. A card that's kind of broken is the Nazgul Battle Mace. This thing is nasty. The fact that I get Annihilator 1 and my opponents have to pay 3 life or let me take whatever they sacrifice. That's disgusting. That is disgusting as a card. And I have this in my Voltron deck as well because that's just absurdly powerful and mean in the best ways possible. Just to mess with people, Sinister Monolith, just for chip damage. Patchwork Banner. Just like having to buff my rats. Would you like some better Voltron-y suggestions? Dark Steel Plate is probably better than your armor, and it was reprinted in a Final Fantasy Precon, probably like $2 now. I'll have to look into that, actually. Then where is my... I know I got my Winged Shoes in this deck because I've used it to save my commander's ass many times. But yeah, I just try to keep my commander alive. Just because as long as he's alive, I get more rats. And the rats boost each other. Here it is. But yeah, I'll have to look into the Dark Steel Plate. Because one thing that's kept my commander alive is the Winged Boots. Equipped creature has flying, don't care about that. And Ward 4. Vren comes with Ward 2 just by himself. So all of a sudden getting Ward 4 and Ward 2. Having Ward 6 really makes it easy to keep my commander alive with Mage Bane armor, because then I prevent all non-combat damage, and then even if they do cast something, I have Ward 6 to target him directly. So it keeps my commander alive, and it helps a lot with that. But yeah, that is my favorite deck to run for Magic. And you can tell it's my favorite because it has my favorite anime character on it. For those who have forgotten about the box. Never got in trouble for showing that on YouTube, so yep, got that one. Dark Steel Plate is indestructible, makes the creature indestructible, and I think is a +2/+2. It's a 3 and 2 equip. I'm gonna have to get that because that is nice. Because indestructible would be nice to have. I just want to get hexproof and indestructible. Because if I can get those as equipment onto my commander, he stays on the battlefield permanently. And so everybody's just killing their creatures, and I get benefits from it. Best girl is still Cocytus. You can say that crap. I still prefer Racnera, but Cocytus is a good boy. And Cocytus Jr. over here is he still perplexes me. So Shy Boost gives hexproof. Okay. Perfect. I will look into that. I'm a fan of Cocytus Jr. Thank you. We tried hard for Cocytus Jr. But yeah, I don't think I'm... Cocytus is close to being done. The Yuan-Ti, I've got some tweaks I want to make to them. Because I need to finish getting the... I need to redo the leather recipe so I can figure out how I got the leather to look like this, because I like the color. But I didn't do it for the leather wraps on their feet here. And so I really need to redo that for them.
I also want to redo the weapons, because I almost but not quite got the right highlighting done on that shield. I need to dot their eyes, and I need to get something done so I can make their scales pop a bit. This guy, I think, is the closest of the Yuan-Ti to be done. Though I still want to go over with my Krieg khaki here in the middle sections, just to redo that, because I just want to touch it up a little bit. Then I need to fill in the eyes, and then I need to get the base on all of them done. Whisper Silk Cloak gives, can't be targeted by anything, it can't be blocked. Ooh. I've never heard of Whisper Silk Cloak, so I'm saving that for later. Because yeah, I definitely need to get a little bit more cash to actually build it. It's $2. Holy crap. Yeah, I'm definitely getting that on my next paycheck. Much to my pod's chagrin. But I am here to make people crazy with the rats. And it's also my most powerful deck. I've got a landfall deck that was the first one I ever made, which I've got it right here because it's nearby. My friend actually bought everybody a bunch of deck boxes for it. Just some 3D printed stuff, but first deck I ever got and built was AC Tyrant of Gyre Strait. So I can play an additional land, and whenever a land enters, I may draw a card. Crazy. You were crazy once? Did they lock you in a room? A rubber room with rats? But I like this deck a lot. One of my favorite cards is Tempt with Reflections in here, because choose a target creature, and all my opponents can make a copy of that creature that I'm making a copy of. If they do, I get to make an additional copy of it. I hate rats. Understandable. Rats are fun in fantasy. They make me crazy. Yeah. But what I like to do in my deck is I like to, if I can, get this combination going, because it helps with landfall. Even though I don't run landfall that much, I use Tempt with Reflections, and then if I choose the Yavimaya Elder, because when he dies, I search my library for 2 basic cards and put them onto the battlefield. Or sorry, I put them into my hand. But then if I pay to, I can sacrifice him directly and I draw a card and get the rest of his stuff. So I like to do Tempt with Reflections on the Yavimaya Elder, just that way all my opponents go, oh yeah, I want one of those. So I can get, I think in one game I got like 5 of him. I got 5 copies of him. And so I was able to quickly get out just about everything I needed to really start messing with my party. Or not my party, but my group. Look at Fungal Fortitude. 10 cents common. 1 black enchant creature. +2/+0. When this creature dies, return to the battlefield. Ooh, I like that. Let's see. Because I run my deck basically as Leviathan, Kraken, Octopus. Then Blackblade Reforged just so that my commander has a little bit more power when he attacks. Let's see. Here's the win condition. Simic Ascendancy. Easily one of the best cards that I have. Then Quest for Ula's Temple. I don't get the most use out of it, but I have fun. An old card that I found is Thought Leech, which I thoroughly enjoy. Serpent of the Yawning Depths. It's really fun. Aqua's Form, just so I can get extra commander damage. Force Fruition to be a dick. I got Tromokratis in here, but I don't use them too much. Chronic Flooding, Nezal, Primal Tide.
Inkwell Leviathan to be really mean. Propaganda, Arcane Adaptation, Ominous Seas, Stormtide Leviathan. It's kind of like plot for your next commander attacks and for your casting your commander, giving you a +2 in the meantime. Oh yeah, I like it a lot, honestly. I have a lot of stuff I need to actually figure out and run in my card. I think 4/2 is high, underrated, and overlooked. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of good Magic cards that just haven't found a lot of appeal with people. Or people just build certain decks, but they don't take the time to really look into everything. Because I know I'm still trying to get used to all the new cards, because originally I played in like 2014 was like the last time I played. And then a year or two ago is when I got back into it with my friend. But with my commander, I get this guy's really fun. He's only 4 mana for a 12/12, but he has 5 slumber tokens on it. If you cast a spell, you remove a slumber token, and then as long as you tap him for land, you get to remove a slumber token from him. So, and roughly 2 to 3 turns for 4 mana, you get a 12/12 creature. Slinvoda, if you kick this spell, return everything to your opponent's hands. It's really fun. Blackblade Reforge, you get a +1/+1 for each land you control. And a landfall deck, that's just a permanent middle finger to my opponents. Nadir Kraken, if I draw a card, I pay 1, and then I put a 1/1 counter on him and create a 1/1 tentacle creature token. Really fun just to have chump blockers. Simic Ascendancy is begin my upkeep. If this has 20 or more growth counters on it, I win the game. So starting with this in my opening hand is just very nice. Quest for Ula's Temple, free monster drops. Thought Leech, whenever an island controlled by a target opponent becomes tapped, I gain 1 life. So against any blue player, this is just fun to throw on them. This is a card that I don't see a lot of people use, but I really enjoy it just for the extra life gain. Because even if the blue player tries to tap for counterspell, he's still tapping an island, which means I still get the benefit from extra health. Serpent of Yawning Depths. Krakens, Leviathans, Octopus, and Serpents I control can't be blocked except by same creature type. Few people run those creature types, so I get away for free. Aqua's Form. Enchanted creature can't be blocked, and whenever it attacks, I scry 1. Throw that on my commander. All of a sudden, I'm doing free commander damage every turn. Force Fruition. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player draws 7 cards. Really love this. I love this card so much. Because 6 mana is not hard in this deck. But getting people to slow down their play if they don't have removal spells for enchantments really is fun, just to go, oh, no, I'm helping you. I'm letting you get card draw. Surely you don't have a maximum hand size, right? I want to run this in my rat deck, but I want to get the 2 rats that minus your opponent's maximum hand size. Because there's a rat that minuses by 2 and a rat that minuses by 1. And so doing that with Force Fruition would just be really mean. Chronic Flooding. Whenever the land becomes tapped, controller puts 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. Just tap the best land that player has, and all of a sudden the problem player is slowed down by a few turns. It's not really the best card, but I like using it just to mess with any white players. Nezahal. Spell can't be countered, no maximum hand size. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, I draw a card. Very easy to have. Inkwell Leviathan, Island Walk and Shroud and Trample. Ominous Seas, draw a card, put a Foreshadow counter on this, sacrifice 8 Foreshadow counters, and get an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token. Very nice, just to have extra chump blockers. Stormtide Leviathan, all lands are islands to their other creature type, to their other types, and creatures without flying on Island Walk can't attack. So he's basically a way to slow down the game if I need to. And Murkfiend Liege, green and blue creatures get +1/+1, and untap all of those during each other player's untap step. Makes it so I can swing whenever I want, but also have defense when I need it to. So I really enjoy having this deck, but I do need to optimize it more. Yeah, I quit way back in 98, 99. Just got back into it like 2-3 weeks before Takir. But I'm retired and what you would probably consider a local whale, so I've been reading, buying lots. Hey man, I whale irresponsibly in a lot of stuff. So I just respect it. Because it's fun. You need show and tell. Maybe. I just get excited because I don't get to spend a lot of time actually talking about my decks that often. Because I enjoy them. I've spent a lot of time trying to build them up. But like I said, I have not been able to play Magic in a hot minute as well. So I had the excuse to talk about them again. And what's up, Crab? A card called Show and Tell? Oh. Oh, that card. I forgot that card existed, actually. Yeah, I do need that card. Yeah. I remember my friend telling me the exact same thing, is that I need that card. I made a dumb joke? Oh. Sorry, I missed it. There's a lot of cards that I need to get for my rat deck, and just in general for my Simic deck as well. Because I've had a lot of fun, and I've definitely got stuff made up for it. But it's not the best that deck could be just yet. I also have a friend who also runs AC as his commander, but he heavily goes into the landfall gimmick. So he wants to duel me with our decks to see who has the better AC deck. I'm certain it's him, but I'm still going to fight him for it anyway. It's a play any card from your hand without cost, but each opponent also gets to play one card without cost. Oh. I like that, actually. Yeah, as long as I'm not playing with a Eldrazi player, then yeah. That would be a really good card. But Eldrazi and Sliver. Totally worth it if you're dropping Omniscience or taking extra turns with it. Yeah. That's kind of why I've been hesitant to also go to local game stores, is I have not kept up on all the cards that are banned. And I'm certain that, depending on where I go, I'm probably going to get a flack for, oh yeah, no, I just build decks to have fun. I don't play competitive. And so I've got friends that are like, yeah, this card is technically banned, but I still play it in my deck. I'm like, I don't care, man. We're about having fun. It's not about competitive here, because I do not have competitive rated decks. I have decks that are fun to play. There's like nothing banned in Commander under $5,000. I mean, isn't Mana Crypt banned now? Because I remember Mana Crypt got banned recently, which to me, Mana Crypt doesn't make sense for why it got banned, because it's good, but it came with a heavy price, so it always felt fair to me whenever somebody pulled out Mana Crypt on me. I play Pot of Greed and draw 2 cards. Don't think it's banned in Commander, only Modern. Oh, okay. But even so, I don't see why Mana Crypt is necessarily banned. Because again, you lose life when you use its gimmick. I feel like losing life alone is already pretty bad, especially if it's in Modern, because
If you're playing modern with like 60 card, you got 20 health. Unless if you have an insane amount of recovery and lifelink in your deck, I don't think you need to worry, like people need to worry too much about you having recovery. So, I don't know. I just remember there was a lot of hubbub about Mana Crypt getting banned, and personally, I don't see why. My friend would get, if my friend was here, he could give like an entire list of cards that should be banned just because of the infinite combos that they make. Yet we don't worry about those too much. Commander format already limits you to one copy of a card, makes bans hard to justify. No, I agree. I know they banned Jeweled Lotus, which I don't agree with that ban. Because Jeweled Lotus was I think it's add like 3 or 4 mana to only cast a commander one time in a game. It's good, but I don't know if Jeweled Lotus is good enough to get banned. Because you can only use it to cast a commander card, which, sure, if you have the mana tax, that's really difficult. But still, I just don't see Jeweled Lotus as that overpowered of a card. It's good, but with how bad mana ramp is, especially with all the colorless artifacts that are full in the Eldrazi decks, I don't see it as that bad. They should just ban some random useless card and just defend their choice like it was horribly overpowered. They could do that. Because personally, I would love to see a Joe character like Squee get a new infinite combo that breaks the game in his favor. Because he's worth it. Protogenitus? I don't know that card. I'll be honest, I don't know that one. So what am my battery life at? 20%, okay. Doubleberg, 10/10 protection from everything. Oh! Someone stole all my magic cards. Oh, that's tragic. And gosh dang, 10/10 protection from everything? So board wipes is really the best you can do with that then. Oh gosh. All 7,000 of them? Holy hell. That really is tragic. Gosh dang.
Jewel Lotus Progenitus is kind of broken. Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that. But the kicker, I don't even know how to play. Hey, man. There's never a wrong time to learn. And technically, if you download the app that they're always pushing, the app is free and it teaches you how to memorize the keywords. It really does help because I know I got better when I downloaded and played the app for a bit. I haven't logged in a long time, and my decks are definitely going to shit. But if you ever want to learn to play Magic, I would definitely suggest either friends in real life who can teach you, but most importantly, the app that Wizards has actually works really well. And so I can definitely suggest it as, yeah, if you're getting started and just trying to play, it's a good starting point. Because it'll teach you the basics and it'll teach you all the keywords, and you kind of learn the feel of how the phases change and how everything plays. It definitely helped me out when I was trying to learn. And also made playing certain gimmick cards go faster. Like, I like frogs. I like their gimmick from Bloomborough. I would never play frogs in real life because that is so fucking tedious to manage. Because frogs have the gimmick of you exile them, and if a creature that you control leaves the battlefield, then you get bonuses for it. But that's if they leave the battlefield without dying. And so, of course, you just exile all of your stuff multiple times, and that's just how it works. However, that is tedious to do on hand and in person. Julos finds from most cards you would see as commanders, but it makes cheating giant trash too easy. And there are a lot of big stompy that just becomes broken when you can cheat it out. Yeah, that would make sense. One tip I learned to look up 1,000 card lots and filter the price to below 25. Oh, okay. I tried frogs for spacecraft, Slan from Limbo. Just really doesn't work though. Frogs are a weird gimmick. I like the idea behind them, but the thing is, if you're playing with frogs, your biggest enemy is a board wipe. And in Commander, everybody board wipes in Commander. If you don't run a board wipe of some kind, you're not playing effectively. And so because of that, I like the idea behind frogs of exile them, come back, and all of a sudden you get bonuses for it. I just don't think they really fleshed it out enough or gave the frogs enough protection to make it work. Because if your opponent has nothing to stop you from doing it, you can get away with some crap. But it's not the best. But I have some frog commanders that I want to try out. My Iron Spirit runs mass board wipes. It's my only interaction. And that's good, though, because I do like board wipes. Again, I like playing token decks. So, of course, as a filthy token player, board wipes are my enemy. But I respect it because, again, it's just the most effective way to deal with most of my decks. So I am never salty when somebody board wipes. I just go, well, there's that. Why wouldn't I exterminatus from my spaceship if all my stuff is indestructible? No, absolutely. It's a very valid tactic. Then I am not salty, I am crab. Understandable. Okay, I gotta wait for the rest of this to dry. My idea is, because this is supposed to be a magic weapon, so I just want to get my magic blue once this dries off on the base. Just have the magic kind of surge from around that area as it goes around. Besides that, though, that's mostly done. But I'm gonna have to call this here. Let's snip snip. As it goes. But it does look tasty, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm also holding myself back because I'm trying to be on a diet here. But I need to end stream because my phone is about to die. But thank you guys for coming out. It was fun to talk and to paint and also talk about magic. So, sadly, yeah, iPhone's at, let's see, I'm at 23%, which means my phone's going to die in about 5 minutes if I stream any longer. And I already had my phone die once during stream. I had to wait for my phone to come back on to end stream. File duplication. If it works, it works. But we got Cocytus Jr. started. I'm thinking about changing, maybe getting rid of the red marks on him. Because I liked the idea, but I don't think the execution was good enough. The mermaid was partially painted up, and I do like how she's turning out so far. Just got to do a little bit of... I need to spend some time to color the ropes, the rocks, the dead wood. Oh man, there's a lot of details on the space I need to finish there. Then the Yuan-Ti, I didn't even get started. Plug it in. I can't. I have the unfortunate issue of every time I get a new phone, somehow my charging port gets broken, so I can only do wireless charging. That's kind of why I don't plug in my phone and stream for longer. I like the red marks possibly make it look faded. Maybe. I could try to figure something out with it. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to end stream there because I also have work tomorrow. But thank you guys again for coming out and talking, for hanging out and just giving me tips and ideas on what to look for both magic and with helping me get my painting done. But I'll see you guys whenever I see you next. I hope you guys stay safe until then. But thank you guys again for your time, and I'll see y'all later.